Hello, everybody. Welcome to Most Wanted Topics. I'm your host, Kevin Dennison. Along with me is Atomic Tommy Peruse. How you doing, Atomic Tommy?
I'm doing great, man. It's been a great day.
It has been a great day. We're off to a fresh start. You know what? We had our anniversary sale, so we're off to another new season at Most Wanted Comics. Just want to say thank you to all the fans for coming out to our anniversary sale. We split up, of course, as you know. We were at the church and at the store because we had so much inventory. And boy, did we have a turnout.
Yeah.
We now figured out that the way to a comic book fan's heart is through the stomach by offering cake.
Yep. That is a annual tradition here at Most Wanted. Cake on our anniversary sales.
And it's a beautiful cake, as you can see in the picture there. It was a fun celebration. We got rid of a lot of over inventory, and the customers were very happy. Mm-hmm. And we thank you all for the great turnout. We have some housekeeping to go over. We took the hiatus last week in honor to watch the Vikings and be very disappointed by the Vikings ripping out our hearts yet again. Yeah. The Mighty Mafu is in mourning. He won't be here because he's still mourning the Detroit Lions loss and the Rams loss.
Not taking that very well.
But yeah, other than the deep freeze of Minnesota winter hitting us hard this week, we have a lot to look forward to. On the 25th, on Saturday, Otis Frampton will be at the store. And he'll be signing his new book, which comes out on Wednesday.
Wednesday, yes, we will have copies. So come in on Saturday, pick one up, and get it signed.
Yeah, so on that, and then also February 22nd, former WCW superstar and NWO member Buff Bagwell, Marcus Buff Bagwell, will be in our store Saturday, February 22nd, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., signing autographs for all the fans. He's buff and he's the stuff and he's ready to go. Really excited to kick off events again in our store this year for 2025. And then a regular with Most Wanted Comics, Tom Newed, the great artist, will be at our store March 1st.
Debuting a new exclusive print.
Mm-hmm. So if you want an exclusive print that you can only get that day at our store, come and check it out. So, all right, we have 3 signings already set up, so mark your calendars. Everything will be on our website at mostwantedcomics.com and on our Facebook, Most Wanted Comics MN, and of course, Instagram, Most Wanted Comics LLC. Check us out on all the socials and get all the information there. And Atomic Tommy, we have a lot to talk about with comics this week.
Yeah, we do.
Let's dive right in and let's talk about it.
Yeah, so the first book, and really the only book I want to talk about from last week, is Ultimate Wolverine. We're kind of in this state in comics right now, and usually it's kind of like this beginning of the year, before any of their big yearly events kicks off from sort of the ending of the previous year. Usually we do have this sort of time where things are very laid back. There's not a ton going on. And it's just kind of limbo and very mediocre, shall we say. And we're kind of in that spot right now where, you have your, usuals, your always good reads that are out and still going strong. Transformers, Uncanny X-Men, Ultimate Spider-Man, that kind of stuff.
Absolute.
But at the end of the day, not a ton interesting, not a ton new out yet. However, we do have Ultimate Wolverine. Just a fun read, man. Honestly, just a fun read. Winter Soldier, Wolverine, 2 incredibly badass characters that when you mesh them together, just works so well. And you really see that in this book. They really spend this whole first issue really building that, the violence, the brutality, showing us how exactly, what they take from each character in this, mixture. And it worked really well. And honestly, really fun read, really quick read. It's a hot book. If you can get a copy, I'd highly recommend it. But with that, let's talk about now this next upcoming week. Again, pretty laid back, although we do have something new kicking off. Some of the prelude work to One World Under Doom starts this week here, Marvel's 2025 event that they've been hyping up for the last couple of weeks. Some of the prelude stuff starts now, right? We have Doctor Doom and Rocket Raccoon #1, and we have a new issue of Fantastic Four that begins sort of the tie-in to that. And as well, another book I just want to mention briefly, X-Men, Xavier's Secret. We have this big X-Men story brewing with Xavier, and Uncanny, if you've been reading that, you kind of know what's going on. But sort of a follow-up to that and continuation of that starts this week.
And the Otis Frampton book.
And the Otis Frampton book.
So make sure you get that for Saturday signing and come in and get that done as well. Okay, we have to wrap up our conclusion on Skeleton Crew.
Yes,
Skeleton Crew has wrapped up, and overall, what did you think of the show?
Overall, I thought it was a great show. Man, it was fun. Relatively innocent and inoffensive from a lore standpoint. Just a fun watch, but plagued, unfortunately, by the state of Star Wars, which is, obviously Star Wars kind of sucks right now. The viewers know that, and the viewership, unfortunately, reflects that. Not a lot of people turned out to watch Skeleton Crew. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is when you fail so hard.
I don't blame them, but I think they really should give it a watch because it's just a fun show.
Yeah.
And it's not heavy Star Wars. It's just an entertaining show, and you don't have to be a Star Wars fan to like it or hate it. It was just a fun show. I was, spoiler alert, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You had your chance to get out of it. At the end, I was a little disappointed that they didn't go into the Rebels when they came down to the planet. I would have liked to seen who it was that came down, who the leader was, and kind of tie it into something that ties into something Star Wars.
Yeah.
But I can't complain. I'm just happy there was nothing getting shoved down my throat, and it was just a fun show I could just take in and enjoy being entertained. Hey, it had a lightsaber, it had force movements, and it was just a fun adventure.
Yeah. And I can't blame overall Star Wars 100%. They didn't really market this show that well, and again, I think that was partially out of just fear of backlash.
Right.
But nobody really, nobody knew it was coming out. They didn't really, the advertising for it wasn't all there. And honestly, if you weren't a Star Wars fan, you wouldn't know this was Star Wars. So I don't really think, it had a lot going against it, but it was fun at the end.
Yeah, and I think people have heard about it. I think some people will come late in the game and check out and binge the show.
Yeah,
and I think that'll be good for it. And now we also have to wrap up on the DC side of things. We have to Creature Commandos.
Honestly, it was fine. It was good. Episodes are really short, and again, it was fun. It was definitely James Gunn, and James Gunn did it well, but I question, I just question. I don't know why. I think it could have been longer. I think it could have maybe done a little bit more than it did.
Yeah, again, I don't know if they were experimenting or if why the shows were only 15 minutes.
Yeah,
it seemed like, I know it was a little longer than that, but it really, they could have done more.
Yeah, it just felt like when it felt kind of. I walked out of that last episode like that was it. You know what I mean? Like really. It just didn't really feel like it accomplished all that much for the beginning of the new universe. There were cameos and there were, little bits of information that they dropped in, mostly in those first 2 episodes. A lot of people freaked out over the Batman cameo. I don't really care about that because we don't know who's playing Batman, okay?
We don't.
It doesn't matter that he showed up in a little silhouette. Okay, we already know Batman's there. Not a huge shock, right? I wasn't really blown away by, like, the ending. I get it. Like, you killed off one of the main characters. Kind of an interesting way.
The most empathetic one, too.
Anyway, but overall, I thought it was fine. An interesting watch, but I did kind of question the ending, and I thought they could have done a little bit more.
I agree with that take. So like I said, I wish it would have added a little more to the content because they started to go into different storylines. It's with Frankenstein and blah, blah, blah. And I just wish they would have done a little more with it. So, yeah, I agree. A little longer would have helped. The ending was kind of different. And
you know what we have to talk about now, though? We got to talk about those Marvel Legends. We got to talk about
the toys coming out. There's some figures coming out that are on the docket that are be great. Let's talk about the big one that people haven't seen since the 60s or 70s is Rom.
I know. Premature shout out to the Gossovich family. They are hyped for that Rom figure, and I can't blame them because ever since they showed that little 3D render of Rom last year, I was hyped. I was excited to see how it would look, and it did not disappoint. Man, that whole retro carded kind of esque little mini comic wave. I don't even know what to call it. It's kind of a new thing, but that whole wave is really cool. From the Wolverine's kid, I think it's like Dakin or something. I'm not really too familiar with the character, honestly. And then to Rom, Ultimate Miles, Ultimate Iron Man. I love to see some Ultimate figure representation. I think that's awesome. I really hope they continue with that. There's a lot of cool character designs in the Ultimate Universe, both old and new, that they can adapt. And then, obviously, we had the big reveal that everybody's kind of excited for, and that's the new Maximum Spider-Man figure.
Yep, that's going to be very, very detailed, and I think, boy, is it detailed. All the hands, the webbing. Why don't you talk about
Yeah.
what the fan has to look forward to with the Spider-Man?
And honestly, I've seen a lot of people talk about it, and this is really everything that the Marvel Legends community and has asked for from them forever. I mean, they're giving you all the bells and whistles. 5 pairs of interchangeable hands, 3 interchangeable heads, a bunch of different web accessories, plus a web stand for that one little like shooting web thing.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Plus you have a little spider sense, which I don't think they've ever included. And the most detailed webbing they've ever done on a Spider-Man figure. Every articulation tool they have put on the Spider-Man figure. And a new like neck swivel, which you don't really see. I don't think we've ever had that on a Marvel Legend. I think you only ever really see that on like an import, like an SH Figuarts or a Mafex. So they're giving you absolutely everything on this figure, and people are still complaining about it. Oh, the spider sense should have been yellow. Shut up, dude.
Well, if that thing spins its head and vomits pea soup, I'm not having it in the house.
Yeah, that's okay. We can watch out for that. And then the other thing people are kind of talking, If the other thing people are kind of talking about is the price, right? They did not announce the price, which I don't blame them, right? But given how people overreact, I think on pricing. What do I think personally? I think this figure will probably be between $50 and $60. And honestly, I think that's pretty fair. I mean, people are over here saying they want it to be like $35, and like that'd be nice. But guys, if they're charging $40 for the Brave New World Red Hulk, they're not going to charge $35 for a maxed out articulation Spider-Man figure.
How cheap they got it made for?
Well, yeah, but they upcharge on accessories.
Yep.
So they're not gonna make it less than the deluxe figure. So I don't really understand why people are like getting on them about the price. If you want to talk about like global Hasbro like overpricing, that's one thing. But to be like, oh, I'm not gonna pay more than $35 for this. Well,
don't pay for it.
Like I would be more than willing to pay $50 plus for this figure, because otherwise I'm getting a Mafex for $100.
It's just one more shift at Burger King, dude. Just do one more shift, you can get the figure. All right.
Feels like an oversimplification statement, but I guess you're on the right track.
One more shift.
But I again, you have to look at the alternatives to this. I mean, the closest thing you can compare this to is an import. I mean, this is a cheaper, sort of lesser import, Mafex or SH Figuarts, and you have to consider, what that means for the price, which means it's not going to be $35. But then again, I don't think it needs to be. I think people will gladly pay anywhere really between $40 and $60 for this figure. Anything higher than that, I think you do get a little iffy. I don't think anybody's going to pay $80 for that or $70. I think then you're approaching a little too much.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's a Spider-Man figure. It is based on the McFarlane 90s design.
It does look absolutely sick, though.
It's sick. It is, again, I think the best Spider-Man figure ever made. So I think people will pay that price. I think it's worth that price. We can talk about manufacturing costs and what they really paid for it. But really, that's never really. I get that. Then, if that's what we're talking about, the figure.
Well, Rom and Spider-Man are coming out. That's all that matters. There's a couple waves coming out. Marvel Legends is in dire need of some updates.
I think Marvel Legends has really been the only real. Marvel Legends and G.I. Joe, I think, are the only two consistent Hasbro lines right now that do sell consistently well and produce consistently decent products. Another Hasbro thing that we're going to talk about actually in a video coming out this week, though, is what happened with the Lightning Collection, the Power Rangers Lightning Collection. I filmed just a quick little spot on that, talking about the move to Playmates and, them getting rid of the Lightning Collection at Hasbro. So look for that this week. But that's kind of our toy talk.
We got to hint your new show coming out. We're going to do a side show. Has nothing to do with comics, but at our store, we have a very comfortable store. So people like to come. We like to hang out, talk, just cut the fool. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And one of the things I like to talk about is different food. So why don't you tell us what we're going to do?
Yeah. So starting in the next couple weeks here is going to be Tommy's Taste Testings, Atomic Tommy's Taste Testings. Okay. That name can be workshopped. I want it to be workshopped. If you have an idea for a name, let me know in the description or comments or whatever. Send us a message, whatever you want. But basically, we're going to be tasting, reviewing, rating different foods that we want to. It's not going to be an every week thing. It's not going to be an all the time thing, but it's kind of a new thing we want to do here on the channel, just to diversify and put something new and fun out there.
Yeah, it's good. It's gonna be amazing. We're gonna kick off with the best chicken sandwiches in the Twin Cities
We're gonna
area.
be trying some chicken sandwiches. We're going to be ranking some chicken sandwiches. We might even do some chocolate shakes in the future.
And we look for your feedback, too. If you disagree or agree, feel free to chime in. That's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you keep an eye out for that coming up. And, hey, we got to do some shout-outs.
We do.
We got to do some shout-outs to Matt and JD. We love having you guys follow us. Thanks for all your support. Dan, the Amazing Spider-Man fan man, and Jimmy. We gotta say hi to Gene and Dean and Caleb and Jeff and Mark and Brian and Ryan and Jim and Liz, the Gossipage family. Another shout out to you. Hey, Pat, Eli, thanks for supporting us. David, aka Superman. Hey, thanks for coming to the anniversary sale. We appreciate it, bud. We'll see you at the store shortly. And, of course, Stephanie, Larry, and, of course, Rick and Melissa, the Northern Contingent, soon to be a city contingent, getting out of the up north backwoods and coming down closer so they can see us more often. We're very flattered. So, hey, with that, we want to say have a great week, everybody. We have a lot coming up. Make sure you mark your calendars. Saturday, Otis Frampton, and we will see you all next week.